Yes, guys, welcome. We're back with the first in-person podcast on Hotpot Podcasts or Dentify Education podcast, whatever you want to call it. I'm here with Dr Vinay Raniga in London.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Vinay, for having me.
Yeah,
it's great to be on the Dentists of Insta platform on the Hotpot podcast.
Bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
Hotpot podcast.
Yeah, a bit of a mouthful, but been trying to do this with you for a while.
Yeah.
We were going to do it in lockdown, weren't we?
Yeah.
Skype, but fates aligned and we can do it in person.
I know. It's fantastic. It's great to be here in London together.
Yeah, so a little bit about you. You're a young dentist, very involved in further education, educating young dentists with Dentify, and also you're doing some stuff outside of clinical dentistry, which is a little bit more weird. So I want to hear a bit more about that as well.
A little bit weird. So thank you so much for having me. I'm Dr. Vinay Raniga. My mum calls me Vinay, so that's all right. I'm a dentist, graduated from Barts in 2018. I then did DFT in Northwest London, and then I did DCT also in Northwest London at Norfolk Park Hospital. So literally haven't left the M25. Quite interestingly, I did the Erasmus in Sweden, which I absolutely loved. So big up Karolinska Institute. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's fantastic to be here. And I started in 2018, I started Dentify Education to help people with their DFT exams. And I think anyone who does well in DFT thinks, oh, actually, I did well because of a few certain things. And because of that, you can pass that on to people. And it started growing after that. So once I did DCT, I started doing DCT training for people. And then after that, I started, partnering with dentists that I knew that are very good in certain areas, endodontics, cosmetics, occlusion, to see how this platform can actually help educate dentists quite differently to how other providers are doing it. So it's
interesting because I think we're quite aligned. We're both involved in kind of further education of other dentists, not just ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
I do the one-on-ones on Instagram Live, show you guys cases, show how to do different things. We've got the Endo Mentor scheme, which is coming up. Scheme series, you want to call it that. So a lot of fun there. And also pretty much the same age as well. So we're very much aligned in what we're doing. So it's cool to actually speak to you and see what your thoughts are on things.
Yeah, for sure.
When did you think, okay, well, I need to do this Dentify to help DFTs? What was that kind of like click?
To be honest, I got my first placement and I ranked pretty highly. So I thought, well, there's stuff that I'm learning and stuff that I've done that I realized other people hadn't done. So there's stuff related to the SJTs and interviews that I did that was slightly different to what other people were doing. I didn't go on any of the major courses when I was actually practicing. So then I thought, actually, there are a few things that you need to learn. When I do an exam, first of all, I like to know, like in advance, all the theory beforehand. I also like to know, okay, who's written the exam? How did the exam come about? What other types of exams are there in other industries that are similar? So I got loads of pointers and loads of hints from that. So then I thought, okay, why not teach people SJT? Why not teach people also about their communication interviews at the time when there were them? So I just started it. And Manthan was also helping me. One of my friends, Manthan, he used to help me on this. And so we thought, okay, let's just go to different places during our DFT year. So we went to, we did one in London, went to Cardiff, I went to Plymouth, went to Leeds. Our first course was in Leeds, 10 people turned up. But from then on, it's grown. It's grown. And I'm very grateful because I think what people really like is that we not only understand the content, but understand how to teach it. Because that's really important, because you don't want to sit there for a whole day learning about SJTs and communication and PML if it's not interesting and not engaging, because it's the emotional connection with the content that you'll really have an impact with it. And in fact, we're recording this today. Only yesterday, people got their DFT places for the last year. So
I saw a few people post about that on stories. And definitely getting in there. So well done to all those guys. Hope you got what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Vinay helped you out.
If not, it's not my fault. But no, I think a lot of people did get what they want, and it was a really hard time because This year it was just SJT, which can be really daunting because of COVID.
Yeah, and I guess like I'll be contrarian here. I didn't really see a lot of, and you're going to laugh at me and maybe like back it up a bit or something, but I didn't really see the point of the whole system of the way that it's done. I feel like matching the partners, you know, the DF, the foundation trainee, to a trainer is really important. I've seen a few cases, you know, not myself. I was really lucky, even though I'm sure my trainers will tell you I was a nightmare. Thinking I'm some God's gift or something, but I'm clearly not. But that matchup is really, really important as opposed to a ranking system, which seems a bit arbitrary. But I guess it's there. We have to do it. Vinay's a co-team for that, it's in. So
no, I think before what used to happen is like there's no dentist in my family. So
yeah,
what used to happen, it was so linked. So if you had a link, then it'll be easier to get a placement, and if you knew people, it'll be easier to get a placement. And that has its benefits. It's not that it's all negative, but I think they started national recruitment to really try and even that out.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that's really good that they have done it. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I think it's got problems with it.
It has. Yeah, I completely
married
agree.
with kids, you know, split them up.
Yeah.
Great. Now what?
Yeah, there are some like special circumstances. But let's say you just got engaged and you're starting DFT and you have to move somewhere else from your partner. There's no special circumstance for that.
I know. Yeah, I feel like that it probably works overall, but they just need to add more classes of, okay, it's not going to work for you. We were at the GDC planning for practice or something back just you know August or October 2019. It was this whole thing where all the different stakeholders were there. I was on this I don't know why they invited me. No idea. I think I was nominated from the foundation Yorkshire area, and there's an FD from each previous year. We were talking about these things, and it was very much they'd already made their mind up that they were just going to continue on what they wanted to do. They just wanted to be there for we spoke to people sort of thing. I thought they could have, you know, built upon the things we were saying. So, for example, we spoke about people who are engaged. Okay, that's one thing, but I'm fine. You know, I can go wherever, more or less. Difficulties for a Muslim, for example, you need to go to Friday prayer, and it's like a non-negotiable. Stick you in West Wales. Where are we going? There's no facility for that. That can be really difficult for someone if you don't have the Friday off. So just little things like that going, okay, well, yes, we're going to do national recruitment, we're going to rank people. Maybe there should be some sort of extra category.
Maybe a bit smaller, or like you rank people within an area that they definitely want to be.
So you don't want to be sending people somewhere a bit shit.
I think there's like loads of people have their different preferences for sure of where they want to be, but what I realize is
swapping system.
Let's say you're from Manchester and you go to university in Peninsula, for example, and so after 5 years of being in Plymouth, you may love it and you may want to stay there. For many people, they feel like after 5 years, let me go back towards like my family, go back towards, you know, my school friends, or just go back home for a year. So then national recruitment kind of, it's very daunting because you want to move back home. So that was one of the reasons I started it, because when I got my DFT place, it was 5 minutes away from my house. And it was good, but you can get a bit lazy because you're like 5 minutes away, wake up at
it's going to help you out.
All of that stuff. So
that's a good thing in a way as well, because you've got support network.
That's true.
And for me, the point I made on that day was, do you want to make a good dentist? Or do you want to fill gaps in the National Health Service? And if you're wanting to fill gaps, then okay, what you've got is brilliant, because you'll send people to the middle of nowhere to see these underserved communities. But if you want to give people a good kick up in their career and a leg up, it's not the way to do it. That's kind of what I was getting at. Obviously, that ruffled a lot of the HE feathers that were there. Probably thinking, who gave him a microphone? Got one here. Sorry. But yeah, so that's maybe something to think about, and it's a whole other debate, I think. It's not the only thing you're doing, though. Bit of clinical governance.
So it's not so much clinical governance. So I work with my dentist in their communications team to do a consulting for public policy. So literally that we're working on the access challenge. So having a DFT in an area is great, and it does provide access for different communities, but we found that one of the main causes that we're having of the access challenge, mainly in the southwest, mainly in
Cornwall, that kind of area.
Cornwall area, like there was recently in the Daily Mail, there's an article about, you know, people on a waiting list for 3 years. That comes from areas in like Cornwall. We've got Wales, we've got north of England, we've got the kind of Tory blue wall, as it were, for the last election, and kind of East Anglia. These areas where you can see seagulls and sheep, there's a problem with access, and accessing a good dentist. And so we're working on that and how you can solve that challenge. And the main thing we found is actually to do with the workforce. Like the workforce in dentistry has changed significantly over the last 20 years. Not only
intakes of the cohorts, you mean?
Intakes of the cohort. We've actually, between 2012 to now, we've actually reduced the number of dentists that we're training.
I've seen that. So I went in the year, 2 years above, had 110 people. I think they've oversubscribed and had to give them the places. When I left, the intake was 60. Insane. Then Brexit, people have left. You know, anyone who's a little bit European thought, well, sinking ship, go home. And then you've got maybe people who want to come over from Pakistan, India, you know, Far East, you know, all those kinds of places. But even those people don't want to go to rural areas.
Actually,
they're probably a bit more likely to do it.
What we found actually is actually contrary to that. It's really shocking. But what we found is many people born in the UK want to go to major cities. Like if you're born in the UK and you do dentistry in the UK, you want to go to a major city. You want to go to London, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, Sheffield, etc., etc. So you want to stay in a major city, which is
a young person. You've got, you know, but life to live. That's probably
we were really scared about Brexit because we thought Brexit means European dentists, which make up around 30% of all dentists in underserved areas. So that is insane. We thought they would maybe leave back to go to their home countries, but that didn't happen, thankfully, because the EU actually and the UK came up with like a mutual arrangement, but just for 2 years. So we don't know what's going to happen after 2 years.
There's a bit of a buffer period.
The real and dentists from outside the EEA, outside of the EU, that have to take the overseas registration exam. They actually want to. They don't mind going to these areas, like going to Cornwall, going to
so they get registered.
They get registered with a specific practice. So what happens? It's actually a really complicated process. I don't want to bore the audience to death, but they have to.
There's a lot of people who want to come to the UK who watch my podcast. So,
actually, that's true. So do you want me to explain it?
This is one of the things that I'm going to talk to Cameron about. It's one of the things I'm going to deal with, possibly with some sort of a course in the future. Just going to try and work out how to do it for you guys. So watch out for that. That may never happen, but it's on my little list of things to do.
That's exactly what I'm working on for the whole year this year on this overseas registration exam, talking to MPs, talking to both sides of the aisle, talking to the GDC and the BDA to actually see how we can improve this process, because it's way too complicated. Right now, you may graduate, let's say, from India. India has an oversupply of dentists.
Same in Pakistan, I've heard.
So it's like literally there's 300,000 dentists in India, and there's about 30,000 dentists that don't have a job. Because imagine you can't get a job. They've stopped opening the number of dental schools there, and the Indian government actually like dentists and doctors and nurses actually coming to the UK because there's no fear of brain drain. There's actually no fear. It's unfounded. Brain drain means like taking your
so I think the same
doctors and
thing happens in tech. They all got to California.
They're
on to Texas now actually as well, weirdly.
But with tech also, like India has got a booming tech industry in Bangalore and Chennai, where there's loads of like students. So that's they've got a lot of India, Pakistan, and Southeast Asia got a lot of smart people that actually have been trained pretty well and trained in English too. So that's a big thing. And then they come across to the UK, but there's a long process to go through it. But
it's a very small intake each year for the ORE, which I was shocked at, thinking that we've got such a huge gaps in coverage. And yet it's only twice a year. And it's only like 10 people and they fail half the year.
So it's a few more. So it's about like 400 people right? 400 people
I'm
can take
exaggerating.
it.
I like to do that.
No, for sure. But like 400 to 500 people can do the ORE or another equivalent exam. But then the pass rate is about 45%.
Mm.
Relative, if you compare the same to medicine, the pass rate 71%. So if we
For the plab, is it? Yeah.
for the plabs, exactly. So 71%. So we're wondering, well, why is there that distinction and why is there that level of pass rate? And it's actually there's multifactorial reasons for it.
Yeah.
But
just list them very quickly so we can get an idea.
So one of the main reasons is that it costs the GDC more to run the ORE than they make back, because the GDC can't make money from a private entity. They only make it from our subscription to the GDC. So giving £600 a year, that's the only way they make money. They can't take. It would be unethical for them to take money from like a private organization or a private dental practice or whatever, because they're a government body. So that's number one. So they actually lose money. The reason they lose money is because in secondary legislation in the UK in 2015, it's given in pounds and pence how much they should charge for the ORE. So they can't go against that because it's the law.
Right,
so it's a bit silly. The third reason is they can only use dental authorities that are sanctioned by the Privy Council. Basically, what that means is there's an area of government that sanctions dental authorities, like King's College London, Barts in London. So they're dental authorities. So they can only use them.
Those centres.
Yeah, they can only use those centres for part one and part two of the ORE. Another thing is they can't do part one, which is literally like your UK CAT, or
can't do it online. It has to be in person.
Has to be in person. So they can't do it in India. They can't do it in South Africa. They can't do it in Canada, America. So they have to. It costs. Imagine like you
come over one exam, you've got to go back home,
and you fail it, and you have to come back again. So it's super expensive. And I think the process. I think process needs to be a bit more flexible.
So like everything in the UK, it's pointless and long-winded.
I wouldn't say everything in the UK, but I would say that this process...
UK government. Okay.
I wouldn't say the UK government either.
He's being diplomatic. I don't need to be.
But I would say that I would say that
it can be streamlined. It can be more flexible.
Like any good thing in the past, it needs to be looked at again and updated, because it did used to work.
Things have changed.
Things have changed, so we need to update the process
or just train more UK dentists, because I'm getting messages from people left, right, and centre going, "Didn't get in this year. Should I go abroad now?"
Yeah,
and just train more dentists in the UK.
I couldn't agree more. I think that is the long-term solution. The short-term solution is actually to actually look at countries where they train dentists well and streamline the process for them to work in areas we need them to work.
And I'll be really controversial here, and I think training in the UK is substandard. If you come out, you'll speak to dentists, and these are people who are clever, top of the class in school. You don't know someone, if you're a non-dentist, you don't know someone this clever, capable. They pass all their exams, pass the dental school exams, and you come into the workforce and you're struggling.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the person, it's the training. For example, root canal, it's, of course, today that we're in Karina, sorry, Karina, we're taking up a couple of minutes of your time. Go follow Karina Specialist Endo.
You have to do that, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a payment for us doing this. Really helpful to people. There's a lot of younger dentists out there who are learning valuable skills that really should have been consolidated in uni. Brilliant that we've got courses like this, but I've seen cases coming from other countries and they're way ahead. I've seen people doing dentures with surgical procedures, for osteotomies to flatten the ridge as a third-year undergrad. Huge treatment plans. They come out placing implants, come out doing complicated treatment, and we're terrified to touch anything. Really are. You speak to any young dentist, it's all about fear of litigation, fear of failure, fear of this, fear of that. It's not the case elsewhere.
I think that the underlying kind of issue is maybe we need to start updating the NHS contract, because we're being trained into a contract rather than being trained as great dentists. Like, hey, you want to learn more about implants? Let's kind of organize a session to learn about implants, or let's organize more about learning about rotary endo, so I think dentists want to learn they want to learn a bit more. I recognize that it's expensive to train a
I think there's
dentist.
fear in dental school of failing the exams.
Yeah.
So you don't apply yourself to learn dentistry, you apply yourself to learn technical theory.
Yeah.
I remember that because the minute I came out, look, I failed a lot of exams in uni. You see my reel. Everyone go share my reel. But I failed a lot of exams in university. But again, I'm not CD student. I was A-star A student. I'm capable. I know that, as soon as I've come out, I've just picked everything that everything that was in the back of my head has come to the fore, and I think I'm pretty knowledgeable on all those sorts of things. I can answer everyone's questions when they've got them. For the dentist, I feel like I'm teaching same content that we were taught in some ways. Probably not to the level of some of our teachers who were very good, but I had this fear of having to repeat because things went badly one year from non-university related things, and I failed the year. That carried on, and then by fluke I failed finals, so I wasn't too bothered about that. So kids vibe. I don't treat kids anymore, so
I think
fine.
I think university can be scary. Dental school's hard. Like it's really hard, and I think the fear of failure is definitely there.
People that go to dental school have never felt anything in their lives, and suddenly they come against a course where oh crap, we're failing multiple things. I did a poll. I'm not got my phone on me, but I did a poll. It's like, have you failed anything in dental school? Yes or no? Over 65%. As at last checking, 4,000 people have seen the story. So it's not uncommon, but I think people who fail are made to feel like it's uncommon. 10, 15, 20% of mine each year in Newcastle fail finals. 10, 15% fail each year, and it repeats in summer or repeat a year. Really common, but pretty grating mentally. So don't need to look so sorry for me. I'm happy about it.
I think
it's all worked out for me. Look at it.
I think because you have the kind of right attitudes towards failure, and I think definitely what that kind of the broader category is teaching dentists about communication and emotional intelligence, because I think these softer topics, and I don't think it's just dentists, it's like society in general. These kind of softer topics in education, I think are needed, but they're looked upon as like not hard evidence-based science. So I think teaching them how to deal with failure, how to communicate with others, how to even deal with success, and how to kind of present yourself and etiquettes around that. I think those sort of things are invaluable, because when you're with patients, that's all they care about. They care about, is this person nice? Did this person cause me pain? And then they think about,
no idea about
is this they have no idea. They just think this guy's a friendly dentist, wants to treat me, that's fantastic.
Seriously, if you want to not fob off patients, but want to make them feel comfortable, just buy some expensive fitted scrubs, comb your hair, have a haircut, wear some perfume, and then speak like you're from Oxford. They have no clue whether you're good, bad, or otherwise.
No, I think
seriously.
Yeah, but I think the other things are more important.
No. I feel there's a difference where I had some really bad scrubs before. You switch over. Just get this weird air of, oh right, okay, it's gonna make sense. This guy knows.
The loops. They're like, whoa, what is that? I think but I think teaching emotional intelligence to children, starting that off, and teaching these softer subject matters, I think are really, really important to get well-rounded people, and I think that's extremely that'll help dentists so much to deal with failure and to deal with all these kind of issues.
That communication thing. So if you're bad at communication, start a podcast like I did.
You're not bad at it, but
you didn't know me 18 months ago.
I think
no, it's okay. Definitely better.
But yeah, I think I have nothing more to add on that. But
I think we're in agreement there, aren't we?
I think we're in agreement, and I think more dentists should look at different avenues in their career, because when you're at dental school, you really think that, okay, I'm just going to be a dentist, and then that's it. I go from there. But I think there are so many different things, and when you leave dental school, you can be a bit bewildered about where I want to go. Because if you become an associate straight away, sometimes you think, you just plateaued, or that's it, I'm an associate?
I would definitely fall into that category. But then I've been exposed to a lot of things, having done Dents of Insta, speaking to God knows how many people. This week yesterday I sent 250 messages to people.
Wow.
In an hour to get features, and obviously some people reply, we'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
So if I do send that little copy paste to you, you can reply back and ask me questions. It's just the easiest way for me to get the information out there for pictures. But I learned from that, and I feel like I have this ridiculous amount of information about different countries and what they're good at and bad at, what the situations are. You know, you see people doing direct onlays and direct restorations because the patients can't afford something. So while you over here, you'd be like, okay, no, you shouldn't do that. Take the tooth out. Well, they'll give them 4 years, maybe to save up some money to then put a crown on. Over here, you get slaughtered. After an endo to just put a direct composite. But what would you rather have? No tooth or a tooth? It's that different. It's a different way of practice. So,
definitely. And I think even beyond that, what Dentify is trying to now is to help like dentists find passion and purpose in their career. And I admit I'm young in my career because I'm also finding that. But it doesn't mean you can't help people with what you know.
So many people think just people below us.
Exactly. And many people think, oh, just because you're young, you can't be teaching. No, you can teach what you know, and you can meet people to help teach what you want to learn. So I think many young dentists, they don't realize that you can split your week up in doing different things. You don't need to do necessarily 5 days of clinical work, although that's one of the reasons there's an access challenge, because actually many young dentists, they feel the burnout, so they don't want to do 5 days.
I can't do 5 days.
You have to do physically, 3 or 4, right?
Physically, I can't do 5 days. I do 2 days in a row sometimes, and I feel gone. I don't do full days. I do 9 to 5s. I do 8 till 2. 8 till 2. And if there's an interesting endo, I'll put it on the other day. Otherwise, I'm going home. I'll go relax. I'll go see some friends. Refresh and have a day off. And then I do a day on, day off basically throughout the whole. And then maybe a couple of times I'll have 2 days in a row. If I do 3 days in a row, I'm destroyed if I get a day off. And it's not worth it for my personal life. And I think that's the other thing. Make sure that you're not neglecting your friends, otherwise you'll lose your 30s, you'll have kids, and you'll lose your 40s as well, and before you know it, you're retired and God knows what's happened. To enjoy life, not just to make money. So you've got to find a way, guys. Should we leave it there? So we've got to jump off, don't we?
I think that was great.
Guys, Vinay Raniga, not Vinay, because people might get
Vinny.
People might get a bit upset because of the Euros. We'll start doing hand signals.
Oh yeah, that was.
I was thinking
such a heartbreak. What a heartbreak! But terrible. They did us proud. They did a good job.
Yeah. Power to Marcus Rashford and the other guys who missed, Sancho and
Saka. Saka was actually Saka grew up where I grew up.
Did he?
Yeah, Greenford. So that is very cool. So Saka, we love you so much.
You'll get a big move to a big club soon. Don't worry.
Well, that's for Arsenal, so he's already at a big club. Just stay where you are, Saka. You're enough where you are. Good. But thank you so much for having me on this.
Go follow Vinay. There'll be plenty more coming from him, probably from both of us together at some point as well. We'll look into that. And if you haven't already, head over to my page, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit a like, comment, subscribe. If there's anything that you want to know from Vinay, hit it down in the comments and I'll pass it on to him. Let us know if you're trying to come to England as well. We'll try and help you out. And we've got a few things in the pipeline. I don't know how long it's going to take me because there's only so many things I can do in 24 hours. But it's coming in soon. All right, we'll see you guys.
Okay, bye-bye.